All right, welcome everyone. This is Bluegrass Sports Nation coming to you from Jackson, Kentucky. Exciting day here, folks. We're going to have the roster reveal for the first annual Kentucky Middle School Football Association Battle of the Regions. I'm here with head coach Shorty Combs of Region 4, Grade 8 team. Shorty, man, it's a big time right now for middle school football in the state of Kentucky, man. You're going to be the head coach of Region 4, the 8th grade team. Tell us your thoughts right now about being chosen as the head coach.
Well, Brendon, it really is an honor. I've been coaching for a long time, been part of the game. I don't want to reveal my age here, but a pretty long time. So I've coached anywhere from the grade school level up to the high school level. And really I've just been the middle school head coach here for the last year, and I've helped for a long time. But really, I've been blessed with having a lot of great players. Last year was a great year for us, and we've had a lot of great coaches that's been a part of our program. So with that being said, being chosen, it is an honor, and I thank you guys out here that had selected me. But now our next challenge is to win this thing.
Good deal. That's what we'd like to hear. Of course, then Battle of the Regions, this is the first year that this has come about for middle school football. Middle school football is exploding in the state of Kentucky, folks, and we're glad to be right in the middle of it here at Bluegrass Sports Nation in Eastern Kentucky. Shorty, tell us how the Battle of the Regions came about this year.
Well, the Battle of the Regions really is an extension of the Kentucky Middle School Football Associations. Really, it's been the association. I think their goal is to really improve football across the state of Kentucky, to promote kids, try to get them to the next level, the college level, and really starting now, is kind of the name of the game. It really has changed the recruiting process. So the Battle of the Region really is an extension, like I said, of something that used to be called the All-Star Classic. And the All-Star Classic was played somewhere along the lines of Thanksgiving. After the middle school season was over, and Team Kentucky tryouts took place, and from there, those kids went together and played a, similar scenario what we have here, but it was done in the fall, late fall.
Yeah, and folks, if you could see behind us here, there's going to be 4 regions, and these games are going to take place in Central Kentucky on March the 27th and 28th. So there are going to be 4 different teams, both 7th grade and 8th grade, that'll be playing on those days. So it's going to be a great weekend of middle school football, Shorty. Tell us about that event.
Yeah, it really is. We're basically going to start practicing on March 13th. You're going to get 2 practice weekends, and from there we're going to be playing a game. The games will be played at East or West Jessamine. They'll be played on a Saturday and a Sunday. And the great thing about this, not only is there an 8th grade team, there's a 7th grade too. We'll talk a little bit more about those guys here in a minute. But it's just a big deal for middle school football players, especially those kids that are getting ready to make the transition into the high school level, to get a game experience against high caliber competition. It's going to pay dividends for those kids down the road.
And Shorty, you were able to catch up with Mark Payne, who's a board member of the Kentucky Middle School Football Association, and also the regional director for Region 4 here in the Battle of the Regions. So let's hear from you and your Zoom conversation with him.
Hey, Coach. It's good to have you with us today. If you would talk a little bit about, the goals that the Kentucky Middle School Football Association has, and you can talk about your role in making all these things happen.
Oh, first off, I appreciate y'all having me. So the Kentucky Middle School Football Association started up in, I believe, 2008. And at the time, I wasn't involved in it. I was still coaching middle school football. But at the time, they were just looking to give our middle school athletes in the state something to compete for on a state level. And since then, we've grown into an organization that offers several different resources to kids. We offer our state championship, which gives kids postseason play. We offer an all-star weekend event that lets the best in Kentucky compete against each other. We also offer FBU Team Kentucky, which allows kids in our state to get to compete against the best nationally. That way it kind of gives them a glimpse of what they're going to be competing against for scholarships once they're, in high school trying to earn their way to the next level. And then something that I'm involved in personally, I hold a coaches clinic each year, try to get high school, middle school coaches together. And we just sit down for a day and just learn from each other. We've had some really great speakers in the past. And this year, something that we're going to try to implement is we're going to start hosting combines throughout the year, because it's something big that kids, they're going to more and more combines and camps now. And it's something that, if you don't practice combine drills and you go to a combine, you have a bad performance, that can really hurt you. So we want to get kids involved in some combines and just give them instruction on what they're going to be seeing at these combines that they go to whenever they get to the high school level.
That's right. The game's really changed. It's crazy to say that college programs are looking at middle schoolers already, but that's what's happened. They really want to know who the class of 2025 is. And I think we got a good group together. We thank you for being a part of this. I know a lot of it's behind the scenes that you're doing, administrative stuff, but we know that you'll be there on game day and practice weekends, and we couldn't do it without you, but we appreciate you. We'll let you go. You guys have a great.
Thank you.
But Shorty, moving into Region 4 here, let's talk about it. You can see on the map here, it pretty much goes from Pulaski County to Pike County, so you've got a wide area to choose from. Can you tell us how the team that we're about to reveal here in a few moments was selected?
Well, most of these kids had already been part of Team Kentucky. Several of these kids actually started for Team Kentucky in the national championship game. So to me, it's pretty impressive that we can get those group of kids back together one last time before they enter high school. From there, like you said, we've got teams from our area, basically from Corbin all the way into Pikeville. We've got kids that are, some of the best middle school players in the state. We've been watching and scouting these kids for some time now, watching video on them, and this coaching staff is really impressed with what we have to offer. Every position is going to be competitive. No kid is a stand out above anyone else. They're going to have to come in and compete to get on the field.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I know you mentioned it there before, but we're just on the cusp of this. The next week or so, they're going to be hitting the practice field.
That's right. March 13th is our first practice. Our first practice will be held at Hazard High School. So it's basically a centralized location between this area from Pikeville all the way to Corbin. That was a great facility for us to use. Hazard High School has been great to let us use that, and they're going to provide as much football equipment and help as we need to get us out there and to get us playing on the field.
Well, Coach, before we move into revealing the team, let's talk a little bit about your coaching staff. Of course, you're going to be the head dog in this one, but you've got a pretty darn selective and impressive coaching staff that'll be helping you. So if you want to run through those, let's talk first of all about who you got on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, I've got some really great coaches. Some of these guys are head coaches at the high school level. I mean, that's probably unheard of across the state of Kentucky, but that's what we do in Eastern Kentucky. These high school coaches, they understand that, hey, it's important for me to go out here and coach these young kids because they're going to be part of our programs, down the road. For starting out here, I'm going to take Griffith High School's very own Kyle Moore. Kyle Moore will be working with our quarterbacks. He'll be co-offensive coordinator. He's going to be out here working these kids from the start of practice to the end. You can't get any better working with kids than Kyle Moore. We all know that here in Breathitt County, but we've got another high school head coach named Rex Parkey. Scott Parkey. Rex is his son. I'm getting ahead of myself. But Coach Parkey here has been a long-time coach at Rockcastle High School. His son Rex will be part of this program also. From there, he'll be working with the running backs. From there, we'll have a Belfry guy, Coach Stanley. Coach Stanley is going to take over our tight end positions, and he'll also be the co-offensive coordinator, and he'll probably go up top and be able to signal down and call down plays for us. We've also got an offensive line guy who's been in the game for a long time. Coach Dodson from Belfry. We won't find a better offensive line coach in the middle school or high school level. He's played, college football at Marshall University with guys like Randy Moss, Chad Pennington. So, I mean, the the experience and the connections that he has, it's going to be great for our guys.
Absolutely, and that's a who's who, folks. You've got college football players. You've got two just this past year, the 8th grade state champion coaches there. So it's going to be impressive to watch your offense, coach. But let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball. Tell us who's going to be coaching your defense.
Well, our defense really will start with the linebacker crew. We've got a guy named Darren Clark. Darren Clark is the head middle school coach at Bell County. As far as I know, Darren played a long time in college football also. Played linebacker at University of Kentucky, linebacker and tight end. So he's going to be a great asset for our kids. Probably the strength of our defense will be in the linebacking core. 2 of those kids actually started all 5 games for Team Kentucky, and they really dominated the national championship game. With he'll have another guy going to bring in. His name is Dudley Hilton's son. Right? John Dudley will be with us. So we brought him in, and he's going to be a big part of that linebacking group also. Mm-hmm. He played college linebacker. From there, we'll go down to our defensive front, and those guys will be coached by Coach Harp, which coaches at the high school level in Pulaski County. I think it's Pulaski Southwestern. And I really got to know him through Team Kentucky. With Team Kentucky this year, he took a group of young men that had never played before, and their defensive front dominated the game. He took kids out of position, linebacker position. He put them in, and he had them playing at a high level. So we're excited to have him. He's going to be a great asset. And then our defensive coordinator will be Coach Woolridge. All right, he's played at Western Kentucky. Played with a guy that we all know. His name is Justin Haddix. Okay, that was in that same time frame. So they're really close friends, and he's been coaching for a long time. He is the head middle school coach at Pulaski Northern. So got a great all-star group of guys coaching. I know I've left some people out here. I know Coach Flynn's going to be a big part of it. We got he's at South Laurel. He's going to be a big part of the wide receiver group. And then you also got Coach Fletcher. Fletcher will be as the Hazard Middle School. Yeah, Coach John Fletcher. So he's going to help us with any position that we need and help run the facilities. So we've got a great group of coaches. I don't know if we could cap it off in 100 of the amount of years of experience that these guys have. So there's several coaches that probably have very familiar names.
I tell you, there's going to be all-stars not only between the hashes and on the field, but on the sideline. So very, very impressive group. Yeah. We're looking forward to seeing this group on the field. But, Coach, let's get on over and start talking about your team. All right, Shorty, so let's get down to business, what we came here for. Let's reveal the team members of Region 4, the 8th grade team, your team that you're taking into battle here in the Battle of the Regions.
Let's do it.
Okay, first of all, on the offensive side of the ball, Ryan Anderson from Southern Pulaski, Josh Bruner from Meese Middle School in Somerset, Isaiah Stanley from Belfry, Ethan Idlewine from Northern Pulaski, Jackson Walters from Bell County, Jason Nunley from Clay County, Elijah Roark from South Laurel, Braden Johnson from Breathitt County Middle School, Nate Gooden from Williamsburg, Christian Wagers from South Laurel, Grayson Gullick, also from Meese Middle School in Somerset, and Ty Denny from Rockcastle County. Those are your offensive skill kids. Defensive skill players, Brendan Anthony from Pikeville, Gage Bauer from Bell County, Drew Inabit from Northern Pulaski, Austin Harlow from Belfry, Weston Harris from Adams, Corey Combs from Breathitt County, Caden Flores from Southern Pulaski, Braden Johnson from Breathitt County, Max Pelfrey from Hazard, and Rex Parkey from Rockcastle. Moving over to the big guys on the offensive line, you've got Big Bo Wofford from Belfry, Jaden Davis from Corbin, Shane Reisner from Pike Central, Keegan Reeder from Whitley County, Sawyer Hall from Breathitt County, Max Dodson from Belfry, and Carson Miller from Breathitt County. Your big guys on defense are Memphis Blankenship from Hazard, Ethan Adkins from Pike Central, Noah Smith from South Laurel, Drew Ferguson from Pikeville, Jace Hatfield from Corbin, Lane Ford from Pikeville, Nicholas Neese from Perry County, Dawson Stevenson from Williamsburg, and Colton Cain from Northern Pulaski. And the specialist will be Austin Morales from Meese Middle School in Somerset. Now, Shorty, we've seen the roster. One guy that sticks out is the reigning middle school football player of the year, Isaiah Stanley from Belfry. You got a chance to catch up with him on Zoom and talk with him a little bit. We're going to cut to that right now and see what you and Isaiah had to say.
Yeah, Isaiah's a great young man. I got a chance to spend some time with him in Naples, Florida, and as well as, being involved with Team Kentucky this year. And to watch him work and progress as a student athlete is pretty impressive.
Hey guys, today we got Isaiah Stanley with us. Isaiah is a running back, linebacker at Belfry Middle School. He's the reigning state champion in Division III, and it's good to have you with us today, Isaiah. Isaiah, tell us a little bit about what it feels like to be a state champion in middle school.
Unbelievable. Nobody gets to experience that. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Probably jump started your career at the high school level, but tell us all a little bit about what it was like for you to play for Team Kentucky this year and even playing in a national championship game.
It was unreal. Just getting to play against teams that's all I do year round, and we just play this like in the football season, and not like they get to, and to make it to the national championship as just was
blessed. Obviously, you got good coaches over there. Tell us about one of your favorite memories playing in the middle school.
Definitely the state championship game.
What are you looking forward to happening here when we get on the field for the Battle of the Regions? Probably you're going to be facing some of your old buddies here that you played with in Team Kentucky. You maybe even have to line up against those guys. And how you feel about that?
I just hope our team wins.
I know you guys have been putting in a lot of hard work. Have you guys started in the weight room? You've been working out, doing some of those things?
We started whenever Team Kentucky was over.
Been in the weight room for another 2 months here. You've been working. You probably never stopped. Well, listen, it's good to see you. We'll see you soon at practice. And, is there anything you'd like to say before we get off?
No, sir.
Okay, well, Shorty, there's the entire roster for your team, man. Pretty impressive bunch. But let's specifically talk about a couple of your kids that you really want to highlight here today. Looking, first of all, on the offensive side of the ball, you've got Ryan Anderson from down at Pulaski Southwestern. Let's talk about him.
Yes, we do. Ryan was a player that had started on Team Kentucky this year, played in the national championship game this year. So, wow, he's a phenomenal quarterback. He's a great leader. He sprints out on the rollout really well. He squares his feet up. He's got a heck of an arm, and he's just a really good decision maker. The experience of him coming back really puts us on another level at the quarterback position, and we should be able to take off, really, really quickly with our offense.
Now, staying in the backfield on your offensive side of the ball, you got Isaiah Stanley from Belfry. Man, he's been a stud, been a great kid, ran up some big statistics over there at Belfry over the years, man. Tell us about him.
Yeah, Isaiah was the player of the year this year in our division, in our region over here. I think he's had something like 45 touchdowns in his career in 2 years. He's really been a workhorse for them, and I think they've rode him. They rode him all the way to the state championship, in the middle school this year. He was a big part of what Team Kentucky did. He was a big part of the downhill run game that the 8th grade team did pretty much the whole season in Team Kentucky. So he's going to be a big part of this. We look for him to lower his shoulders and get positive yardage on every carry.
Shorty, continuing with the skilled kids there in offense, you've got Elijah Roark from South Laurel over there. Let's talk about him at wide receiver.
Well, he's a real deep threat. He's a tall, lanky kid. He's got a really great stride on him when you see him run up and down the field. He catches the ball well with his hands, and that's going to be a big deal because he's going to have to go up and catch the football against some of these DBs across the state.
Okay, let's move to the big guys up front. Man, you got an impressive group here. I'm going to start out with a guy from Belfry, big Max Dodson over there. Let's talk about Max.
Well, Max is Coach Irv Dodson's son. He's been coached well. You know, he's been a state champion this year up front, and that's like I said earlier. That was their strength. You know, Belfry's they're always going to beat you up front. You know, Big Max comes off the ball hard, low. He runs his feet on contact. And he snaps the ball very accurately. So he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
And his running mate over there, Bo Wofford, also going to be a stud for you there in the offensive line. Let's talk about Bo.
Yeah, Big Bo has played guard a lot for them, and he played a lot in Team Kentucky this year also. You know, he played in the national championship game against the best people, the best kids in the country on the defensive line. So he's had a lot of good experience, and he's going to be a heck of a football player.
Coach, finally here on the offensive line, kid we know real well, Sawyer Hall from here in Breathitt County, a great player. Talk a little bit about Sawyer and what he's meant to your program, what you expect from him in this event.
Yeah, it's amazing that Sawyer Hall's just played a few years of football, you know, but the years he's played at a high level. You know, he's exciting to watch. He's very physical, and the kid plays multiple sports. He moves his feet well to be a big guy. And when he stays on a block, somebody goes the opposite direction.
So, Coach, those are your offensive players. Let's flip over now to the defensive side. We're going to start with somebody that lives in your own home there. Let's talk a little bit about your son, Corey, linebacker here for Breathitt County, phenomenal athlete. What do you expect Corey to bring to this team?
Well, Corey's another one of those guys that played a lot this year. He played a lot for Team Kentucky. He's played a national championship game and had a blowout game. You know, multiple tackles, strip fumbles, and fumble recoveries, and just kind of did a lot of great things. It was an exciting football game to watch, especially as a dad. But you know, he's a technician. You know, we've been working on a lot of technique things for a long time. You know, he really runs his feet on tackles. When he gets there, he really brings the thunder. So, you know, Corey's a special player, and he really works really hard at his game. So he's going to be exciting to watch for the next several years.
DB now from Rockcastle County, of course, is Rex Parkey, another coach's son down there with Coach Parkey. Talk about what Rex can do in the defensive backfield.
Well, you know, Rex is a smart quarterback on offense, but guess what? He's probably an even better defensive player on defense. You know, quarterbacks, they make really good defensive backs. You know the game because he can probably predict what's going to happen before it ever does. You know, Rex, what I can see, is all over the field, and when he gets there, he's a very sure tackler.
Now, still at linebacker there, and you were talking about your two linebacker studs. We got Brendon Anthony from over at Pikeville. You know, we saw him this year. Great kid, great player. Talk a little bit about Brendon.
Well, you know, when you first see this kid, you think this kid is a spectacular athlete. I mean, he is well matured above his age. He has a motor that doesn't stop. He's exceptionally fast and quick. His quickness really is what sets him apart. We will probably see if he fits the mold of playing outside linebacker in this defense, and I think you'll see him making plays all over the field.
Staying right there at your linebacker position, you've got Drew Inabit down at Northern Pulaski. Talk about him as well.
Well, you know, Drew here, you know, he's another one of those Pulaski kids. They're very blessed over there to have a lot of great football players. You know, Coach G's really got him working hard. He's a big frame kid. And when he gets there, you know, he really packs a wallop. You know, he's a great tackler on defense, but he also plays a lot on offense. So we'll see if he fits the mold, and we'll put him in his best position.
Okay. Now, Coach, moving down to your defensive line. First of all, we've got big man in the middle, big Jace Hatfield from Corbin Middle School. Talk about Jace.
Well, when you look at a defensive lineman, I mean, this kid is phenomenal. You know, he never stops his feet. He's long, he's lanky, he separates from blocks, and he gets to the football. You know, he's very, very impressive to watch. You know, if you know anything about football, he is a monster up front.
Coach, at defensive end, you've got Colton Cain from Northern Pulaski rounding out your defense. Talk about him.
He's just another one of those Pulaski kids he's just very athletic. He changes direction, he gets off blocks, and when he gets to the football, he really brings a punch. He's just an exciting kid to watch, and he's got a bright future.
Now, Shorty, I tell you, we've talked about your 8th grade team. We don't want to leave these 7th graders out. There's also a 7th grade team for Region 4 here that's going to play in the same tournament, same weekend, same practice, bunch of dynamic kids in Eastern Kentucky. Tell you what, you caught up with Coach Danny Oliver, who's going to be coaching that squad. Talk with him on Zoom. We get them some recognition as part of this as well.
Yeah, Coach Oliver, he's very excited about this group of young men, and he's kind of went out in all these schools and pulled those kids in as well. And a lot of these kids were part of Team Kentucky also. So let's talk to him. Hey guys, today we're here with Coach from Belfry. Danny Oliver's with us today by phone. Coach Oliver, tell us a little bit about your 2 quarterbacks, Mason Griffith and Chase Barney.
Yeah, both of these guys, I was lucky enough to be around Mason some this year with Team Kentucky as we made it to Naples to compete for a national championship. So with Mason and Chase, they're both field generals. They lead teams great. Both of them can do multiple things. But the leadership that both of them provide is what we like most about both of these kids.
Look like you're going to be real heavy at the running back position. You got Shane D. Parker from Whitley and Cooper Robinson from North Laurel. Talk about those guys and what they bring to the table.
Cooper Robinson, we played him this year at Belfry, and for a 7th grader, very talented kid, good speed, very elusive, brings a lot to the table for a young man. D, of course, he was the kid that played for us on Team Kentucky and was the lead back for us, and it is amazing. He has a lot of talent. He scored numerous touchdowns for us with Team Kentucky, but he's just an all-around back. I mean, he can run, he can block, he catches the ball well. We put him in the slot, so there's a lot of things that he can do out of the backfield for us. It's exciting for us.
On defense here, you got a familiar face, Nick Baldwin. I'm sure Nick's been around your program for a long time. Talk about some of the things he does on the defensive line.
Listen, yeah, you're right. He's one of my guys, but let me tell you, Nick is just a football player in every facet. He's physical. He's tough. He finds the football from the defensive line position just like a linebacker. And he's very aggressive. He's just everything you'd want in a defensive lineman. He's been part of Team Kentucky since he was a 6th grader. And when I say part of it, he starts down there every time he goes down. He's always one of the guys that you're looking for to make a play on defense, and always seems to do that at the right time.
Yeah, sure. And you got a linebacker kid named Brock Strunk from Whitley County. Big Brock, what I know about him, he's a very physical kid too. Talk a little bit about what strengths that he has and brings to the team.
Brock is that guy that sort of just solidifies you in the middle of the defense. He's a big physical kid, very good linebacker, loves to hit, and being a linebacker, that's got to be part of it. And we've had him and Ethan Leach both, with Team Kentucky. So both of those kids are going to be a big part of what we're going to do defensively when we go for Battle of the Regions here.
In the secondary, you got some kids that have some length here. They run well. You got Case and Brock and Caden Barney. Talk about those guys and some of their talents that they bring to this team also.
Well, I got to coach Cason for the first time this year, along with them as we went into Team Kentucky stuff with him. And he's just a kid that you look at him and you say, you got to find a place for him on a football field, whether it be safety, outside linebacker, or running back even. You just got to find him on the football field because he's one of those kids that you look at and you're like, yeah, that's the guy we want. And it doesn't matter where, and he never questions it. Hey, you want me to play here? I'll play there. But he's a physical kid, loves the game, plays it the right way. He's going to come up and lay a lick on you, but he'll pick you up off the ground after he's done. But he's just a good kid that you like to throw in at different spots. And of course, Caden, once again, you don't teach a kid to have the athleticism that Caden Barney has. He's probably 6 foot tall, maybe 6'1". He's probably as fast as anybody we're going to have on the football field. And when you talk about locking people down defensively, with that athleticism, that size, length, there's pretty much nothing that Caden can't do on a football field. And we love to see him with the ball in his hand also. So, we'd like to see some of that.
No, you're very, very blessed with a lot of really talented kids in the 7th grade group. It's exciting to see what they're going to look like when they come back in. A lot of these kids we haven't seen since December, and I know they've been working because I've been around several of these kids also, and it's going to be exciting to see how they've developed and grown over the last couple months.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, with this group, we have younger kids that are playing up with us, Caden Boger, Jaden Justice, Kalen Combs. We've got some really good kids that are playing up that are going to help us and going to fill a role for us. So I'm very excited about the group that we have coming, the kids that we don't know that are going to get there, and hopefully we can put a team on the field that, of course, we're going to play physical football. We're Region 4. That's what they expect, and that's what they're going to get when they line up against us, and they know that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks away, and Coach, we thank you for your time, and we'll see you soon. And the work starts in 2 weeks. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Go Region 4.